My name is Ann Bokey. I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 29 years old. Fortunately, that was 12 years ago. I had no family history at all and didn't know anybody who had ever had breast cancer. And unfortunately, my mother was diagnosed 10 months after I was. Again, I was 29, she was 57. Hers, unfortunately, came back in her bones and she passed away now about 6 years ago. But I feel like I am living proof that the early act is very important and that young women need to know that they can get breast cancer, not as a scare tactic, but just make them aware of what they can do to prevent it at an early age. It doesn't have to be a death sentence. If they can just catch it early, the treatment can be very successful. And again, I think I'm living proof of that.
My name is Sarah McLean, and I was diagnosed in 2003. I was 25 at the time, and I found a lump myself and had gone to the doctor and was turned away a couple of times because of my age. I was told that I don't have anything to worry about because I'm too young to get breast cancer. And throughout that time, it was about a 6-month time frame, my lump had grown 3 times the size, and then I finally went back again, was just trying to be persistent, and the doctor still didn't seem to think that I had a problem, but she reluctantly gave me a referral for a mammogram because I was so young I didn't have insurance to be able to cover it. And so I went for a mammogram and they found out that it was cancer. So I went for a lumpectomy, and while they were in there, they biopsied the surrounding tissue and found that my whole cavity was infected. And at the age of 26, I had a double mastectomy. At the time, I had only been married for a year and I didn't have any children. And so I found myself, for a year after that, I had gone through reconstruction, and I was left, after I had gone through all the physical healing, I was left with a lot of emotional trauma as far as depression, self-image, loneliness, not feeling like anybody could relate with me. And so I was able to find a counselor who was a breast cancer survivor as well, and she was able to validate everything that I had felt, and it was really life-changing for me. She helped me on the journey to healing. A lot of times once we're finished with the physical healing part, we're left kind of, you're just thrown out to the wind, and there's nothing on the other side to help you with that part of the journey. And because of my age, there were some different things that I had experienced that other friends couldn't relate to. I didn't have the opportunity to nurse my children. I have intimacy problems because I don't feel like a full woman anymore, and it was a big struggle. And so I think it's a necessity to have the early act in order to be able to come alongside survivors, their families, to have education to help women to do self-exams so they won't have to go through the experience that I did. Hopefully it will be caught before something that drastic will have to happen in their life. And I just hope that you take these testimonies into consideration and realize that you have the ability to change people's lives and generations to come.
My name is Jennifer Roper, and I am a stage 4 cancer survivor. I was diagnosed at 31 and was very surprised. I have 2 young boys, and I believe this act should pass to give women a better opportunity of finding it early and having more survivors and not letting this kill any more young women.
Hi, my name is Heidi Long. I am a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother of 3. I'm a practicing attorney in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Last year, on my 36th birthday, I spent the morning meeting with a surgeon to discuss a mastectomy. And then I picked my daughter, who was 8, up from school and explained to her that I had been diagnosed with cancer. My conversation with my daughter would have been a lot different if I detected my cancer early. My treatment options would have been different if I detected my cancer early. I urge you to vote in favor of the Early Act. And aside from the Early Act, anytime you have the chance to make the appropriations to fund cancer research, not just for breast cancer, but for all types. Thank you.
I was diagnosed with DCIS. Unfortunately, if it hadn't been for me falling skiing and hurting my knees and going to the VA, I probably would not have noticed breast cancer until it was in an invasive stage. So I think it's very important for the Early Act to educate women, men at an early age about breast cancer. And I'm here to ask for your support for the Early Act. There is no cure for breast cancer, and early detection is our main line of defense. Please support this. Thank you.
My name is Sandra Bennett, and these are the Emerson High School Breast Health Peer Educators, and we would like you to support the Early Act. Based on our experience as breast health educators, we know that early education makes a big difference. The peer educators were born out of my science class when a group of my science students were assigned to do a survey over a topic of their own choice, and they chose breast cancer. They found that their peers didn't know anything about breast cancer, and they were amazed to discover that men could get breast cancer as well. They wrote a grant to the Susan Komen Foundation and were funded as a grantee 7 years ago. So for 7 years, our high school students at Emerson have been teaching their peers about breast health and awareness, taking the screening message to their families at home. It's made a huge difference in our community. Naomi will tell you a little bit more about that.
I think our value is really important to our young people. They don't realize that everybody could get breast cancer, and that's why we're out there to teach everybody in the community. We've been everywhere, high school students, to tell them about the importance of breast cancer. We're just really excited to be here, and that we are valued to be an important person to teach everybody out there.
Early education is the best protection.
We are the cure.
Cobb, and I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was diagnosed almost 5 years ago at the age of 28 with stage 3 breast cancer. Spread across both breasts and also into my lymph nodes. However, the majority of my friends who are young survivors have not only no genetic history but also no family history of the disease. And so I feel that it's just of the utmost importance to get the word out with this Early Act and any other means possible to let people know that breast cancer can and does happen to younger women. I am a member of the Young Survival Coalition, which is based out of New York City, and we are an organization specifically for women who are diagnosed under the age of 40. I don't have a daughter, but I do have a sister that also carries the gene, and she has a daughter who may have inherited that gene. And I think for her, for my niece, and for all other young women who may possibly someday face this disease, any information that they can get in their hands to let them know what they need to know about this disease is going to be so important. Thank you.